Welcome to the show, the season finale of the Block Party. And this man ended our season last year and he's ending it again this year. The only way that you can end a season of this podcast with the general manager of your Tampa Bay Lightning, the man who we affectionately refer to as JBB, Julien BriseBois. Welcome to the podcast, man.
It's great to be here, Seth.
Thanks for listen. I have a ton of questions for you. I know you're very busy. You had a press conference yesterday. You thanked a ton of people. Is there anybody that you did not thank yesterday at your press conference that you got done and you go, oh my God, I forgot this person? If so, right now's the time.
No, I think I covered just about everyone yesterday. So a lot of people deserve to be recognized and their contribution to be acknowledged. And I was fortunate to have a platform yesterday to do so and glad to do it.
I want to talk a little bit about Steven Stamkos this year. I feel like what he went through last year to go out there, to play, to score a goal, then to come back rehab, played every single playoff game this season. How proud of Stammer are you? Because that seemed to be a knock on him for his career, that the guy could never make it to the playoffs, never could be healthy, and he did it. And it seems like it's something not a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah, I think that knock is unfair and it isn't supported by the facts. If you look up at his career stats, most of the time he's had long playoff runs and been a key contributor. He was a key contributor last year, even though he only got, I think, 5 shifts, scored a huge goal, but found a way to contribute even when he wasn't playing. But this year I was really happy for him more than anything else. I was happy for him and Matthew Joseph, who also didn't get to play much in 2020 during our playoff run, and David Savard and Ross Colton, for whom it was their first Stanley Cup. I was happy for the new guys. I was happy for everyone, but I had a special thought for those guys.
See, you knew one of my questions, and I'll scratch that off the list. I wanted to know who you were happy for, because I've interviewed all the players this year, and they're all happy for other people. And I think that's what makes hockey so special. So you got a little bit emotional during the press conference. It might have been a cold. It might have been the Stanley Cup. Who really knows? I want to know what picture was in your mind when you got a little choked up. Was it Killer blocking the shot? Was it something that the public hasn't seen? Like what was the picture in your head when you had that moment yesterday?
It's a number of things, but I think in that particular moment, it was just the determination of Alex Killorn to do everything he could to help our team win a championship, to help his teammates win a championship. Had a number of conversations with him in that week when we were looking at options, and I don't think there's anything he wouldn't have done to try to help us win a championship, including blocking that massive shot to start with, which broke his leg. So combination of a number of factors, short nights, a little bit of a cold, a little emotional. So it's all good.
Tell me, what's been the highlight of the last 24, 48 hours for you?
Well, the boat parade. Like, the boat parade was phenomenal. It's just it's such an epic event. It was the first time. It was again this time. I actually think the rain added a little something to the festivities. I think the footage is going to be iconic of that rally at Julien B. Lane, and our players, sharing their joy with our fans and sharing the cup with our fans in the middle of a rainstorm. It was just awesome footage.
What boat were you on for the boat parade?
I was lucky enough to have my own boat. So I had my family with me. Actually, my neighbor offered to captain our boat. He has a boat. And so I had my family with me, my dad, my mom, my wife, my 2 boys, and Matthew Darsh and his family were on my boat as well. So we had a nice cruise there on the Hillsborough River.
What player boat looked like the most fun if you could have hopped on one of the players' boats?
I didn't see a lot of the player boat, just the way it was set up. But I saw the players as they were getting off the boat. I would think that the Russians had a good time. It looked like they were having a good time.
Yes.
But from what I saw, everyone was having a good time. And that's kind of the point. The fans were having a good time. Jeff Vinnick and his family were having a good time. The coaches and management and the players were having a good time. And that's what it's for. A championship is so hard to win. It's such an accomplishment when you can win a Stanley Cup, let alone 2 in 2 years. You want to celebrate that, and you want to celebrate it with as many people as possible, and sharing that moment and sharing that joy. And the boat parade was a phenomenal way of doing that.
JBB, why does it feel like the Stanley Cup is for everybody? It doesn't feel that way in every sport. When they win, you can bring other trophies around, but it legitimately feels like we're a part of the team. We're not players, but it feels like when they bring the Stanley Cup around, when the players go out of their way to try to, let anybody drink out of it, like it seems like we're all a part of the team. And it seems like that's what separates hockey from other sports and other trophies.
Yeah, I think it's two things. One, hockey is the ultimate team sport. You cannot win by yourself. It really takes a collective effort. And so that spirit of collaboration, of we're all in this together, I think it's part of our sport. And it's one of the beauties of our sport. So that's one. And two, the trophy itself. The Stanley Cup is the greatest trophy in sports. It's the most beautiful trophy in sports. It's the coolest trophy in sports. And there isn't even a second one on the list. Like everyone knows, it's the Stanley Cup. It's just the best trophy in the world. You can drink out of it. You can eat ice cream out of it. You can eat cereals out of it. It's phenomenal. So you want to share that trophy with as many people as possible. And I think Phil Pritchard is one of the Stanley Cup keepers. I think he told me that they've been touring the Cup since about early 90s. That's also a phenomenal thing that is unique to hockey. I don't know of any other sport where they do that. So I think it adds to the mystique of the Cup that it goes around, it goes back to our hometowns, and we get to share it with people that we grew up with. It's just a phenomenal experience. Everything around winning the Stanley Cup is just so outstanding.
I have so many questions and so little time. Can you walk me through quickly the Savard trade and how that went? I know I talked to you last season and you said you had pinpointed Goudreau and Coleman like a long time ago as guys that you wanted on the team. Was that the same way with Savard?
Yeah, it was actually. He was a player that we knew was the type of guy you can win with in the playoffs. Just a heavy, physical, defensive defenseman who can move the puck, who had experience in the playoffs before. We had played against him twice. We knew how hard he was to play against. He was a right shot defenseman. We didn't need any help on the left side with Hedman, Sergachev, and McDonough. On the right side, we thought we could use an upgrade. Not that we didn't trust the people that were there, but we already had Jan Rutta, who was injured leading up to the trade deadline. And even though we expected him to come back, and he eventually did come back, you never know with injuries. So Savard was the guy that we had pinpointed at our mid-year meetings. And probably in the back of my mind, I knew before that he was probably going to be a target if Columbus were to be looking to sell him prior to the trade deadline or trade him before the trade deadline. The complexity of the trade was we had no cap space. So we needed a broker in order to, and by that I mean a third team to eat up some of the money. Then you have to pay up that team. But I was looking at our team at that point, and it was looking like Nikita Kucherov was going to be able to come back for the playoffs. He was feeling good. His rehab was going well. I was looking at it going, well, we're at the cap now. Nikita Kucherov is going to be added to that team, so that's another $9.5 million. So we're essentially at that point a $90 million team, $91 million team, and a really good team. Let's push even more chips in the middle. Let's just push more chips in and try to go for it this year and try to go for a back-to-back. And we were able to get that trade done. Again, with the help of Columbus eating half of Savard's salary and Detroit eating a quarter of his salary, we're able to squeeze David Savard onto our roster.
I love it. And I as soon as you made that trade, I tweeted out, I said, draft picks mean nothing during a boat parade. I love how aggressive you are, and it paid off once again. Can you tell me, did you see Ross Colton emerging this quickly? I think the kid, I interviewed him. I think he's a superstar off the ice. I mean, it had a great season. Did you see it all happening for him this soon?
You never know. I saw progression from his first year in Syracuse, his second year in Syracuse, but he took another big step this year. What really impresses me about many of our young players, and Ross Colton is a perfect example, but so are Taylor Radish and Boris Tkachuk and Cal Foote and Alex Barré-Boulet. Everything was shut down for months on end, and they came out of that isolation better players. They put in the work under very difficult circumstances with very limited resources in many instances to keep working at their game, keep working at their craft, and come out of that isolation a better hockey player. And I'm so impressed with the work they've put in and the progress that they've made. And, Ross Colton got rewarded with his first NHL game and eventually, sticking around and then getting a playoff run. And now he's going to get his name on the Stanley Cup. It's a phenomenal story.
Obviously the trade you made last year were phenomenal. Gourde, Coleman, 19, 37, 20, that line last year, this year. Do you know how that line kind of came together? And when you made that deal for those guys, did you see Yanni Gourde being the linchpin for him?
No, honestly, we expected Gourde-Coleman-Goodrow to play in the middle. That's what we were trying to get. We're trying to get a big, heavy, physical, defensive centerman. And that's the role that Gourde-Coleman-Goodrow was playing for San Jose that year. And I got a chance to watch him play. I don't remember how many of his games I saw leading up to the trade, but probably 15 or 20 in a row. I saw all of his shifts. And he was doing a really good job in that role. And that's how we used him at first, prior to the pause. And then when we came back, one of the challenges over the last few years was always finding the right role for Yanni Gourde, Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, Alex Killorn, JT Miller when he was here. And those guys always got moved around. Sometimes they were in the middle, sometimes they were on the wing, sometimes they were playing with point, sometimes they were playing with someone else. And I will give credit to the coaches. They're the ones who came up with that combination. We're trying to get the most that we could out of our team. And one avenue that the coaches wanted to explore was putting Yanni Gourde back in the middle. And he really took off. And Blake Coleman and Gourde-Coleman-Goodrow and that whole line ended up being so valuable to us during these two Stanley Cup playoff runs.
I have to say, Steven Stamkos will always be my favorite player, but Yanni Gourde is an absolute inspiration to watch on the ice. I mean, just for the way he attacks every single shift, it's inspirational just for how I go about life. I love Yanni Gourde so much. I just want to let you know that. I'm sure you already do. 2 quick questions. I'm going to let you go. Do you have a group text at all during the games? I'm there at the games. I have a few people that work there that we text with during the games. Do you text with anybody that works with you during the playoff games, or are you just left alone the whole time and just watching it?
Pretty much during the games, other than Tom Mulligan and Mike Poirier, who are our athletic trainers, who might, text me some injury updates during the course of the game. And usually I will relay those to Jeff Vinnick because I'm sure he's wondering. Other than that, I don't really text much during the game. I kind of try to put my phone down and enjoy the game. And between periods, sometimes to kill time, I might surf the internet, but I usually wait before I respond to email and text, other than Tom Mulligan and Mike Poirier's during the game.
Man, that's great that you can just text to make sure that everybody's okay. I love that. And last question, have you met Young Gravy? And if so, have you listened to any of his music?
I've not met Young Gravy. Have listened to his hit songs ever since we were in Sweden. I've been listening to it every now and then. It's part of my workout rotation. Every now and then I'll put it on.
It's a great song. Gets me pumped up and brings back great memories. JBB, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the organization as a fan, which is really what I am. We know championships are rare. Back-to-back is special. I know that you're going to work your magic again with your team this offseason and put another winner back out there on the ice. And thank you very much, and congrats on all your success.
All right. Thank you, Seth. Thanks for the great season to you as well.